The idea of the basic stall drill, okay, and the name itself is a little deceptive because to call it a basic stall drill might imply something about the level of difficulty. If you start out with it, you're not going to be able to necessarily achieve the results I'm about to demonstrate, but this is what I would call the ultimate goal of the drill. It's a split time pattern where you do 4 stalls in a row in split time, and you switch and you go between a stall and a circle, and a stall and a circle with each hand. So that was the pattern, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That was with the right lead, right? But then there's the left lead where you can go 1, 2, 3, 4. And you want to be able to do both of those, which means it's really 2 4-count patterns. Or if you connect it back to back, it's an 8 movement pattern. Now, all you do is, so let's play with this. All you do is, let's do your left hand. We'll start with your left hand and overhand. All you do is, you're circling, you stall, change direction to underhand, and stall forward. So you do a circle, stall back, and then you do a circle, stall front. And you do a circle, stall back, and you do a circle, stall front. 1 circle, 1 stall, 1 circle, 1 stall. That's all you do, right? And that's what you're doing with both hands in split time. So the concept, very simple. The execution, not so easy. So, well, you know, you gotta have your split timing right. You gotta be able to control your stalls. So we're gonna start out simple. We'll start with both poi like this. And then what I want you to do is keep your right poi spinning in overhand, and then see if you can get to this place where you can do 1 stall and 1 circle while your right one keeps going in the spinning, right? And if you're starting out small like this, if both of them are in overhand, and you're trying to figure out how to stop your left hand and you can't to get it to stall, then just keep your right one spinning and just stop, literally stop your left hand. Just stop it before you can get to the stall and keep the right one in overhand. It's fine that the right one ended up stopping, restart it, and then with your left one stopped, now you're gonna do the hard part. You have both, keep the right one spinning, and in your mind's eye, talk to yourself. So talk to your hands, literally. Okay, right poi, keep spinning, left poi, I want you to stop. Right poi, keep spinning, left poi, stop, right poi, spin, left poi, stop, right poi, spin, left poi, stop. And it might be something, you know, kind of looking dorky like this, where you're like, like that is very normal in the beginning. And if that's what's happening to you, you are among the many thousands of people I've worked with who have had that experience. Okay, and then when you're here, you have the right one spinning, the left one is stopped. Okay, now you have to do the hard part. You have to rub your head, pat your belly, because your right one is still going overhand, but what you want to do with your left poi is you want to come underhand like this. Okay, and then right poi, keep spinning, left poi, stop, right poi, spin, left poi, stop. And then you bring your left one back up into overhand. And then they're both spinning, right poi, keep spinning, left poi, stop, left poi, stop, left poi, stop. Okay, okay. Whew. And left poi bowl while the right poi is overhand. So the right one still keeps spinning while the left one comes up and underhand. Even if your plane is wonky, the fact that you are starting in opposite directions is very good. Then we're going to do left poi, stop again, left poi, stop again. Okay, okay, okay. And now both of them are overhand. And then we'll do left poi, stop again. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, there it is. You get the game, right? There's 4 games that make up the full pattern. So game 1 is both of them start overhand, and the left one stops and changes direction. The left one stops and changes direction. So you can just start with stops as opposed to stalls. And then when it starts feeling more comfortable, you learn how to do the stall instead of a stop. It's a level up from the stop, but just start with the stop. Start with the stop. That's a confusing sounding sentence. So let's take the opposite pair. So same thing. We'll start with both of them in overhand. But now what I want you to do is have the left one keep spinning, and we're going to stop the right poi while the left one is spinning. Well, you're here. They're both overhand. Then we're going to stop the right one or stall it. Nice, you did a full stall there. And then you're going to stall the right one forward and come back into overhand. So you stall the right one, and then you stall the right one forward, and you come into overhand. Yes. Yeah. So that's 2 of the 4 exercises that make this up. Exercise number 3, you start an underhand. Okay, and then, okay, left poi stop, right one keeps spinning, left poi stop, right one keeps spinning. And then when the left one has stopped, you're going to take it and throw it overhand. So while the right one stays underhand, and then you stop it again, and then you bring them both up and underhand. So you stop it, and then you're going to throw it overhand while the right one stays underhand. So this is real rub your head, pat your belly exercises. These are very, very, very good for you. And so while the objective of this drill is certainly to help you have hand independence when you're stalling, I believe this drill helps you have hand independence across the board. And I think it will also ultimately help you with this as well, because you still are getting in that direction and you have to be able to do different things with the two hands. So this is what the, when they're both underhand like this is what that third drill will look like when you get it, where the left one is stalling and the right one is spinning. And then of course, there's the fourth version where they're both underhand, and this one will probably be easier than the one with the left hand. Keep the left poi spinning, and we're gonna stop the right poi, and then as quickly as you can, throw it back up overhand until you can get to a place where you're stalling it. And then stall it back behind and bring them both up underhand. So if they're both underhand, you stall the right one forward, come into overhand, keep the left one spinning, and then stall the right one back and come up into underhand. And then stall the right one forward and come up into overhand with the right poi while the left one stays underhand, and then stall the right one back. And then this is what this one will look like when you get this one. So when you have all four of these pieces, then we can start looking at doing this where you're alternating the stalls between them. But this is the way to get the four pieces. You start with stopping the poi, and then as you feel more and more comfortable with the stops, you move on to stalls. I would call these pretty foundational drills because A, it teaches you some really great stall independence so that you can learn how to move each hand differently with a stall. And then B, it teaches you rub your head, pat your belly in a very, what I would call a low risk environment. And what I mean by that is, it's not like you're gonna thwack yourself in the face, and you could do it indoors. You could do it in front of a TV. It doesn't take up a lot of space, which means you can practice it anywhere, anytime that you can be with your poi, right? Because even if you're doing it super short and you've choked your poi like this, you're still gonna be learning that basic skill, which I think is very helpful. And the whole entire time, you're really developing your bilateral coordination in a way that will impact your practice for forever in terms of being able to do different things with both poi. So this is a huge return on investment in terms of the developmental parts that go on in your body, even though it's aesthetically, not really. I mean, it's not like, it's not like I think an audience looks at this and is like, wow, that's incredible. No, it's not like that's incredible. Which is why it's kind of a drill. But when you start being able to do that, it lets you do things like being able to, like now I'm doing transitions with one hand because I have the ability, and I'm just doing beginner moves, but all of this is based on my ability to do one hand stalling while the other hand is moving. And if you don't have that capacity, then how are you going to be able to do these sort of transitions with this level of cleanliness that I'm doing, right? And all I've done is a whole bunch of weave to butterfly transitions here, but every single one of them required one hand to stall while the other one wasn't. And I would call all of the transitions I just demonstrated fairly beginner level transitions with using beginner moves, but the transition itself is difficult if you don't have the hand independence. So you want to have hand independence in all four versions, which is why I gave you all four drills.